Shout out to those that have donated to the channel. Appreciate it a lot. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am here again with another video. This is something different. Nothing crazy. It's not a how strong video, just something really simple. I do feel like it's time for me to make an updated version of this video. I've done a video like this in the past, but I want to do another one to really just explain something very simple. For some, it's confusing, and I understand why it's really confusing if you're not really into Hulk like that. But yeah, the Hulk can be a little complex at times. You know, he can have his moments where he's like, really? What is all this stuff? Especially if you're new. Well, the thing about Hulk, as you already know, Bruce Banner and the Hulk, same person. Bruce Banner has mental issues, so he's really jacked up in the head, which is why a lot of this stuff gets confused. A lot of people get these different Hulk personalities confused as totally different people. They totally different incarnations. No, they're all the same person. Gray Hulk, Professor Hulk, Joy Fix-It, Green Scar, they're all the same person. Some decide to take the wheel, some others do not decide to take the wheel. But hopefully I, pretty much will break this down easily for you. And for those that are curious, I do have an entire playlist dedicated to Hulk and how strong these forms are, just in case you want to see more of this stuff. So I won't be going too in-depth in the feats in this video, you know what I mean? Well, let's get right into it, shall we? To make it even more complicated, the Hulk is such a complex character. Each of his personalities have different levels of power. They're not astronomically different depending on the circumstances, but like their base states aren't astronomically different than another, but like there are some that have some advantages. Here are the personalities. I would like to start off. You got forms like Joy Fix-It Hulk, the mobster Hulk, the one that is like a bouncer in the club and stuff, and he will take your girl, that type of Hulk. He has the weakest base strength out of the Hulk personalities. It's the personality, he's kind of different. He's smarter than your average Savage Hulk personality. But by the way, he does have a strength increase factor. Matter of fact, all the Hulks have a statistics increase factor, like not just their strength. It's just a stat. The Hulk has a stat increaser. You know what I mean? Gray Hulk evidently has the weakest base state, but he can get stronger with rage as well. Slower degree than other forms. Weakest state doesn't mean weak at all. Remember, Gray Hulk is still capable of feats like busting asteroids 2 times the size of Earth. Next personality that I like a lot is known as the Professor Hulk. Of course, he's a merged Hulk. It's pretty much merged in Banner, Savage Hulk, and Gray Hulk into one, even though he's still a separate personality from Banner, and it's a little confusing sometimes, even for me. It's like a merged personality. This Hulk supposedly has a higher base strength than characters like Joy Fix-It persona because it's merged with another personality, right? It makes sense, right? So it makes sense for it to be stronger, right? Base form, calm state, right? It evidently even has a higher base strength than even the famous Savage Hulk. Now, before you lose your crap, he does have a limited strength increase factor. That's the difference between Savage Hulk. It's like a limiter Banner put himself so he won't go too crazy, lose control type of thing. That's the difference between him and Savage Hulk. So that's another personality. Then you got the personality we all love, the Green Scar personality, aka World War Hulk, aka Planet Hulk, aka the Green King, and aka World Breaker. I'm gonna get into World Breaker in a second, but they dub him that at times, but I wouldn't necessarily call him World Breaker. I would go with the term Green Scar. I'm gonna go into World Breaker in a bit. Just give me a second. This is another personality. This has the highest base strength thanks to meditation on another planet, absorbing a lot of gamma, being trained in fighting arts and being a gladiator for years, being focused. Like he has members of his warband that taught him stuff on how to get strong, increase his strength at will, that type of stuff. Green Scar. He's the first Hulk to get angry enough to go to that World Breaker status, which I'm gonna get to in a second. All right, another personality before I get into the rest is kind of ambiguous if it's even a personality or not, like the Mindless Hulk personality. The reason why I say it's ambiguous is because isn't Mindless Hulk just like Savage Hulk with Banner being asleep? You know what I mean? Like it's like you just turn off the moral. I guess it's like you turn off the morals of Hulk personality, I guess, because this happened when Hulk reached ridiculous levels of anger in a fight against Onslaught. He needed extra power, so they turned off Banner, and he fought a Skyfather level being like Onslaught. Onslaught is without a doubt at least the Skyfather. That's low balling. But yeah, he got ridiculous levels of power. Yeah, with this. But then everybody knows about the famous Savage Hulk personality. Everybody knows about this form. I mean, this is like his most popular form. He's like a childlike form. And he has a ridiculous strength increase factor, which can make him jump tiers and crazy stuff like that. In the community, people get a little confused on what's the difference between Green Scar, World Breaker. Well, the best way I can break it down is think of World Breaker as not a personality at all. Like think of the term World Breaker as not a personality at all. Think of it as an anger level. Just think about anger. Think about how the Hulk gets stronger the madder he gets. Think about if any Hulk, in theory, could get angry enough, he can start glowing green and getting angry enough to become World Breaker. The reason why I say this is because the reason why people call Green Scar the World Breaker is because he's the first Hulk that ever get mad enough to start glowing green, dubbing him World Breaker, messing up the world with footsteps and stuff like that, right? Right, so we don't really know if this form is just exclusive to Green Scar Hulk, or could Savage Hulk get this mad? We just never seen him get that mad enough to get a World Breaker. You know what I'm saying? It's in theory, you know what I mean? Think of it like that. So in theory, you know, remember the Mortal Hulk saga I've been going over recently on my page? The other person I'm gonna go over right quick, aka the Devil Hulk. So in theory, there's a good chance this Hulk could get this angry. There's a good chance Green Scar Hulk can get this angry again to where he starts glowing green. There's even implications that Immortal Hulk can probably become mad enough to get to this level. We don't know his limits of his anger either. They're all the Hulk. They're all the same guy. They're all Bruce Banner Hulk. He just got a messed up personality. Wait, by the way, this guy and this being are evidently the same being. That's how he looks in the persona, like, or inside the psyche at times. Like the Devil Hulk appeared in earlier comics before, so that's how he looked in the earlier comics. Stuff like that. They teased him. That type of thing. Could Grey Hulk go into World Breaker? I don't know. Maybe. I think he would just turn green if he did. You know, he would just go savage. So I didn't really bring up Doc Green in this discussion because Doc Green doesn't seem like a personality that's going to be permanently sticking around. It was doing the extremist stuff and all that craziness. In theory, I guess he could possibly go World Breaker if he got angry enough, right? I think of it as an anger level. Okay, so I'm trying to give the best visual as I can say. All these different personalities are different ones. Savage, Professor, Immortal, Joe Fixit, Green Scar. Pretty much all the Hulks have a strength increase factor. Some limited, more limited than others. Professor Hulk has a higher base state than Savage Hulk. Strength increase factor or stat increase factor is a lot worse than Savage Hulk. Savage Hulk debatably has the best strength increase factor, debatably. That's up for debate. Immortal Hulk, aka Devil Hulk, has a strength increase factor, ridiculous regeneration, but all the Hulks pretty much can revive themselves. Joe Fixit can get madder the stronger he gets, just at a slower rate, and he has a lower base state, lower than Professor Hulk, lower than Savage Hulk, lower than Immortal Hulk, lower than Green Scar. If I can put a visual of how many of the Hulks can get angry enough to get World Breaker, in theory, I would say it's obvious that the Green Scar Hulk obviously can. We've seen him do it. He was the first one to do it, but we've never seen nobody else do it. So I would say maybe it's totally possible for Savage Hulk to get to that level of anger, right? Fair enough, right? Has a limitless strength increase factor, just like the other personas. Professor Hulk, I don't think he can get angry enough to get to that level, you know, because he has limiters that Banner made. When it comes to Immortal Hulk, I would say it's a good possibility for him to get there. When it comes to Grey Hulk, he would just get mad enough. He would just get angry enough. He would just turn to Savage Hulk or something, because we've seen this happen when Joey Fixer reaches a certain levels of anger, he just goes savage, right? Like in this instance, fighting a powerhouse being like Miss Marvel, like he just got angry enough to the point where she thought she got the advantage, but then he ended up transforming to Savage on the spot. So that's what happens. That's why I don't think Joey Fixer can do it. This gave y'all a better breakdown. Did these guys help you understand the different forms and stuff like that, the different personalities better? I sure hope it did. And if you're new to my channel, make sure you check out those playlists so you can see a lot of these characters and their feats broke down a lot more in depth. I can't say that enough. So basically, Savage Hulk, Professor Hulk, Immortal Hulk, aka Devil Hulk, Joey Fixit, Green Scar, and are all the different beings. World Breaker isn't a personality, in my personal opinion. I wouldn't dub it. I do understand people dub Green Scar World Breaker. I wouldn't do that. It's too confusing. I would just say, call him Green Scar. World Breaker's an anger level that basically almost any Hulk you get if they got angry enough, right? I hope that's fair enough, right? No, seriously, make sure you check out my entire Hulk playlist, Hulk and Gamma Family playlist, if you want to see more in-depth stuff, because this video isn't a How Strong video. I have plenty of videos about the Gamma Family, as you can see, even cartoon versions of Hulk. So please, just enjoy that, please. I'll see you guys next time.